Hello there, my name is Salem. Has this ever happened to you? Did you recently receive a nice, beautiful, expensive camera for Christmas? Or did you dip into your life savings to grab an awesome powerhouse of a camera for Black Friday? Are all those buttons and dials overwhelming you? Do you feel like you're in over your head? That's stupid. If that's the case, my young sweet child, I will show you the way to take photos. For some reason, there's a lot of people buying cameras nowadays, whether it be like super expensive Sony cams or some film stuff, and they very soon realize that they don't know how to use this camera. They spend hundreds and maybe even some thousands on cameras and they don't understand what's going on. They have a lot of stuff that's on screen that they have no idea what any of it does. So today, I'm gonna try to simplify how to take photos. So first things first, there's a little dial on top of your camera. Switch that dial to the big M. That means manual mode. So you see your camera's display, right? It's a bunch of numbers and random shit. What do they all mean? What's the meaning of life? Well, the one with the / is shutter speed. The one in the middle with the big F on it is f-stop, or aperture if you're a little fancy. And last but not least, we have ISO. So I'm gonna let you guys know what each of these do so that the next 6 months of just photography videos is not just you watching. I want you guys to understand what goes into taking a photo. It's not just point and click. A lot of people think it is, but it isn't. First things first, let's talk shutter speed. Shutter speed is pretty much self-explanatory. It's how fast the shutter opens and closes. Yeah. The shutter speed goes all the way to about 1/8,000th of a second. At that point, you're literally freezing time to like about 10 to 30 seconds. Now, those are mostly used for long exposures, which are, those cool popular photos with the car streaks and all that type of stuff. You could also even do some cool light painting stuff, as you can see here from like another video stuff. And if you're using a slower shutter speed, definitely use a tripod. That's definitely the best way to go about it. Up next, we have f-stop, or aperture if you're fancy. So what this does is, the higher the f-stop or aperture, the more in focus. Say you want to take pictures of landscapes and all that cool, awesome stuff, you definitely want to have it higher. But say now you want to take pictures of portraits and you want to get those nice, smooth, out of focus things in the background, you know what I mean? That's when you want to use a lower aperture. Say like around 1.8 or even like 3.5, Even using a lower aperture on like landscapes, you get these nice looking crisp images with a lot of depth and like layers. The picture looks more dynamic. The foreground is out of focus, the background is in focus. It just kind of sucks you into the photos with all the different stuff that's in frame. And now all that's left is ISO, and ISO is basically like the sensitivity of light. Me personally, I try not to use as much of it because if you do end up using a lot of ISO, you can definitely see the noise in the photo. This is why I myself try to use as less of it as possible. And not to knock down like ISO or anything, if you guys want to go up and use ISO, go for it. You can make your high ISO work, as you can see in some examples. Obviously the picture degrades if you use a lot of it, but I mean, there's a certain, boundary to cross before you get there. But yeah, it all depends on like your certain situations and what time of day it is. But yeah, the most common use of like a higher ISO is with film photography. Honestly, when you're using it with film photography, stylistically, it can add so much texture and style to the photo. The high ISO thing, it's all about preference. But all these three settings are basically intertwined because if you mess with one, it's gonna mess with your exposure. So keep that in mind when adjusting each and every setting. It's a whole exposure triangle thing. You wanna get your picture to 0. That is your whole goal in taking the photo stuff. How you get there is all up to you. Say you want to take a photo of like a cool, awesome, person, but you want the background to be blurry and you're outdoors, it's already like, okay, I want my f-stop to be as low as possible, but now it's very bright outside, so you're just like, okay, now what do I do? So now you would go to your shutter speed. Now depending on like when you're shooting, like usually at the daytime, it's my shutter speed is like just super high, like probably like 1/4000th to even 1/8000 in certain conditions, because again, my ISO is like at 100. You adjust accordingly and then you know, should be there.
How do you take pictures, Mikhail?
I use iPhone.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Fuck you.
Like when I started, I did it as like just for fun, and then it just became a whole thing, and then I fell into a rabbit hole, and then bing bang boom, I'm like 10K in debt, you know? You know what I mean? Photography is like an endless void of just stuff. There are so many different styles and things you can learn about photography. I've been doing this for about 8 years at this point, and I'm still learning new stuff, different techniques, different shortcuts that a lot of different people have. That's the one cool thing that I like about this. It's all you're always learning, you're always doing something different. It's definitely fun, and you will get into it if you know you get into it. If you don't, it's completely fine, except no. If you do, we welcome you with open arms. It's more fun to just see more people do it, because I'm very introverted, and like when I see someone with a camera, I already have something to talk about, so that's already like a big bonus. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was, I guess, informative for you guys, and hopefully you will enjoy the next 6 months worth of photography content, because it took a while to make these, and well, you know what, fuck it, I enjoyed it. It was it was pretty fun just taking photos of stuff. I encourage you all to just experiment and try everything. That's how you use a camera. Big mic drop.